Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, so contemplate on the beach of regret. What is it? Please like, share, and subscribe. Do that first. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the information's in the description for Zelle. Let's do this. So, man, I'm just starting to look so haggard. I gotta get a haircut. It is 6:49 in the morning. Look at me. Yeah. The contemplate on the beach of regret. So, find yourself on the beach of regret, contemplating. This is more of a funny, kind of. I was talking with Scotty Beers last night, and I said this. I was just riffing, and he started laughing. He goes, "Oh man, you got to use." I didn't even know what I was like. Beach of regret. Oh, that because what we're saying, like sometimes your regrets are like a sand pebble of sand in a beach of regret. You know, some of them are small, and that's what you don't want to be caught up in a lot of regret. Regrets. I've had a few. We all have. Um, and sometimes they're not really. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, I kind of regret, but mostly on mine are like creative and family stuff. But most of them are just like, oh man, like band stuff. I shouldn't have or shouldn't. I should have or shouldn't have done certain things with my creative stuff, and certain family regrets, and other. I mean, it's a beach of regret. So you contemplate, but yeah, there's things that you could like, you don't want to be caught up again. You don't want to be caught up in all these regrets. Like one of mine, I'll share a regret. When I was in Love Engineer, and we were kind of in the Midwest, we were known. We had a CD out. We played. Got to the point where you start off, nobody knows you, and then hey, and '93, I did over 150 gigs. 1993, here, there, and everywhere. Uh, but looking back, my regret about that is I should have moved on because you get to the point where you outgrow people as far as like your creativities, your songwriting, and this and that, and creative differences. You've heard that about band. That's a thing. I know people say, "Well, that's just not it." It is. It happens. Somebody wants to do this. Someone wants to do that. You're not. And then people get familiarity breeds content. Like at first, it's like, oh, we'd all show up in the van. Like say when we first started doing radio interviews, like local radio, it's fun. We're all there, and then it trickles down. Next thing you know, it's just me who would go because everybody's yeah, radio, we done radio. And it's like, well, we got to keep it up. We got to. First time you do a meet and greet, whatever, everybody's there and happy, and then they don't even want to do them. It's just like what? So that's one of the regrets about Love and Cheers. Like I should have, and I was asked to, and it just moved on, did another thing. I should have did that around '93 or '92, whenever it was. But I didn't. I lingered till like I quit the band in '94. And then when I quit the band, we had management out of Chicago. So it's like, well, Charlie, you just can't quit the band unless you get advances from the gigs. So you'll owe us what? You got to finish off these gigs. I won't book anymore, but you got to do like a year. So '94, then it went into '95 because I had to finish up these gigs that. And everybody in the band kind of felt the same way. There's just so much you can do. And again, the thrill is gone, kind of thing. You have all these firsts. Like the first time we sold out a club, the first time and after a while, again, I always thought it was cool, and I always tried to get the guys. For one, they were older than me. I was like in my early. Well, I quit Love Engineer in '94. I was 23. They were already 30, or and that was tough to do. Like we never did anything personal, like hanging out. Like all we did was band stuff, rehearsing and this, and we drink beers and talk. But like I was like, hey man, let's go to the movies, let's go fishing. None of that. So I had other people that were in band. We would do, and it was just age. I was just like, man, these guys are. Um, and we would have my girlfriend and I would have dinner parties. And they never showed up. Barbecue, they never. It's like, well, I mean, so there's regrets, creative regrets that, but the next time it happened when I was in La Mata, someone pulled me aside and said, "Hey man, why don't you do your own thing?" I did. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I should have did that a long time ago." But like, go solo, use my own name. Like, don't brand a brand name or anything. But you can't, people hold themselves down from these regrets. Like, they'll live the rest of their life. Then they realize when they're older, like, damn, I shouldn't have, years will go by and you still think about these regrets. It's not cool. Oh, I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had it. We watched football. I had a few beers, and I actually did my own cooking as well. And there's another Thanksgiving I'm going to today. Where are you at? I'm trying to get my dog here. Come here. There you are. Yeah, my dog, she knows when I'm live streaming, so she'll like shake her little. Yeah, just drives her crazy. She's awesome though. I'm sure she has regrets too. But you have to, mow through those. Hell, if you have to, just bury them. We all do. We all have, maybe not a beach where you contemplate, but same thing with a lot of creative stuff. Also with my family, there's certain things that but most of mine have to do with the arts, have to do with like, well, I should have wasted that much time or I should have spent more time. There's a lot of time, like with my guitar playing right now, I have like, I'm not playing as much as I used to because you fiddle around sitting there and then you end up writing a tune or a chorus. And how I write is I'll write the chorus first. I leave the verses for last because you want to get I go to the source, the hook. So I'll write a chorus. And how I do that is I'll get my rhythm going. Then I whistle my melody. I'll whistle over it. That's what's cool. And then add words over that melody in the whistle. And the whistle is actually a big secret that people like don't think about, but for one, they don't know it's a secret. But it's a big thing. I was in studios in LA and I'd mention the whistle and they're like, oh man, what are you talking? That's stupid. And then when everybody else, the band, whoever management would leave, because I used to work with band, they'd go, dude, man, don't talk about the secrets. We talk about it. That's the secret. Nobody wants to know about the whistle. Like, dude, I'm not working with y'all again. Who cares? So yeah, just whistle over your rhythm, find that melody you like over it, and then bam. And I'd write the verses. Like most of the time when I've written songs with people, the song's already finished. It's just that the chorus, I just didn't or whistle over it. You just add your lyrics to the verses, which is just like nobody sings the verses. I mean, they do, but the chorus, it's the chorus that everybody sings. So yeah, mine are mostly creative. There's times where I should have given away an album because the independent labels that approach me to, sign with them. Technically, I was giving them those, basically giving them the album, half the public, whatever it was. I almost signed with an independent label to release an EP, and all I was going to get was $5,000, and I was about to do it too. Got $5,000, and then they're probably never gonna. No matter how many albums you sell, then you got to fight them for the. Maybe I should have, because I've had people approach me too. Kim Fowley, the old legendary guy in LA. Hey man, I'll give you money. I'll send me some of these songs. Nope. Well, I'll just steal them and rip them off anyway. Well, I guess. My roommate at the time was like, maybe you should do that, man. Just throw him a few, and then they'll know you did it, and then you can move on. Maybe he was right. I always wanted to like hold on to my, not hold on, but I didn't want to give anything away for free. I didn't want to like, not, I wanted ownership, or at least half or something, because in Love Engineer, my first band, I don't really, the last time I looked at my BMI, the publishing, BBC owns some of our songs. Like, huh? Like, what? Like a quarter. I own a quarter of some kind of, I don't even know. Nobody cares about those songs anyways anymore. Here lately, I gave a guy, he's a songwriter. I gave him one of my CDs and my last album, Turn Me On Dead Man. And then he was like, hey, that one verse, what's up the line you say? And I literally forgot. Like, that's how, and it kind of set me back. I'm like, wait a minute. I started singing the song and I couldn't, I'd have to like listen, literally. And you hear about these bands like using teleprompters to hear, I get it. And I've written like, well, I think I've had 40 songs on albums or more. And then there's other ones so it's like you can't remember. Well, no, I can't now when I'm older. I mean, like, shit, what's that lyric you said? I was like, I don't know. And that sounds right. Then good to go for you. That's just how it is. I haven't been I quit performing live like 2010 or 2011, started teaching, and I'm always fiddling around. Like, again, lately I haven't been playing my guitar. Usually I play guitar like once an hour a day, for decades, just always playing my guitar. But moving back to the Midwest and it's cold and, I'm a little bit more, believe it or not, I have like a lot on my table as far as my job and this, that, and the other. And I do play. Scotty Beers will come over and we'll jam. We'll be laughing. We make it fun. We're not trying to write songs. We're just like, he's a shredder. He can do these shredding. I was like, teach me that. What are you doing? I don't know. I don't know either. What are you talking? We could do it. Yeah, certain things like that. I should have signed with when labels were, but in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I could do this on my own. I don't need somebody giving away all my stuff for them to, and quite honestly, I probably did just as well or better, because I started my own little vanity label. See, it was my own label. I released my stuff called Rockstar 71 Records. And I just did my own since 1998, maybe is when I started that. My band in LA, Lamada, that first demo we had, I pressed like, I don't know how many hundred I did, but that was on my, and then everything after that, I've just released on my own because it was like, and I've co-op with other company, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. Like my last CD, Turn Me On Dead Man, I co-op with a company and they put me on a compilation CD with like 20 other bands. And they sent them out to all the radio, whoever, directors or, and they printed 5,000 of those. So they just went out and, and I used to have those too, and so I've worked. It's not like I'm dumb or I'm like, stay away. No, it's just that I don't want to like sign away, like, because a lot of things, man, you got to get lawyers too, because they might word something where what do you mean your merchandising, like, your T-shirts and stuff. You might accidentally sign that shit away. That's where you make your money. See, most bands, unless they've signed it away, especially like an independent band, you're gonna make your money on your T-shirts. You're making money live, for one. A lot of times they want part of that too. Like, what? I wouldn't let other people, again, even manage. Like, I did it all. I wore all the hats. So it's just like, so that's a regret that I had, that maybe I should have let the reins go a little bit. But I don't like to be, again, it's not that told what to do, because everybody's told what to do. But with my music and my art, like it's a passion. It's connected to me. It's like my kids or so. It's like I don't like to, I have a vision and I want to stick with that. It's not that I'm being hard-headed or he's difficult to work with. It's just that I'm on this road that I'm on. And a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, I should have supported you. I should have not. You were right. You should have. And, you know, you can't dwell on that. You just got, and they're all learning experiences too. You know, like I almost signed with Posh Boy. That's the label I was gonna sign with for $5,000. I think it was. It was just like, I think his name's like Paul Kostabi. He was like the original guitarist of White Zombie, and his brother's the one that like painted the Use Your Illusion Guns N' Roses albums. Anyways, he was the A&R of Posh Boy, and they're an old label from like the 70s, 80s. They released the first like Go-Go's, Social Distortion, whatever. And like 2000, 2001, they were bringing that up, and they wanted to sign me for my Super Deluxe Rock and Roll EP that had already been out, but they were going to re-release it. And that was the first solo band, but I didn't want to use my name yet. I was too insecure. So I called it Darting Oxcart. But it was basically a solo album. So and I was going, but man, it's funny how life is. So I lived in Hollywood at the time, and I'd take my dog to the Silver Lake Dog Park. That was the closest one to me. So I'd go into Silver Lake, and I used to live in Echo Park. So I was kind of familiar with that was my kind of my area. And Silver Lake Dog Park, there's like hipsters there, dogs named like crazy named dogs. People would show up dressed all nice at the dog park. Their dogs named like Kerouac. Oh, Kerouac. Oh my God. But I happened to be with my dog contemplating, but should I sign with Posh Boy? Because it does have some cred, some street cred. But then I've heard about how they rip bands off, and there's been fighting. Bands are trying to get their old publishing back, and it's a mess. But it's like, well, I mean, I like Paul, and so I think it was Paul. It's one of the Gestapo. Anyway, so there's these benches, like these concrete benches, or like, oh no, like tables, but they're made out of concrete. I was sitting on one, and people sit, like you'll be sitting in there, but people behind you sit. And I heard these women talking, and I was like, what? I look back, and I'm like, how do I know them? The Go-Go's, like two or three of the girls in the Go-Go's, who I love the Go-Go's. I'm like, hey, not to interrupt, but I'm Charlie Greer. Oh, what, how do I know that name? I'm a big fan. Oh, cool. How's your dog? I go, look, I'm in this process of like signing with Posh Boy. And whoa. They stop me right there. No, don't do. No. We've been fighting we've been in lawsuit. We tried to get it. And I was like, okay. I mean, that's kind of what, again, life just happened. I just happened to run into sitting at the same table as a couple of the Go-Go's, and Posh Boy had released their first stuff or singles or whatever it was. But I thought, man, maybe I could give Posh Boy, because Posh Boy, it's cred, it's like Posh Boy record. Well, I'd say. But then again, it wasn't the best. I remember the paperwork they sent me, the contract, whatever it was. And I think I was only going to get $5,000. And it was a 5-song EP, like $1,000 a song. And this is like in 2000, 2001. Because once 9/11 happened, then everything shut down. They were in New York. They're like in Manhattan or something. And it just didn't, it kind of fell apart. There's a long story behind it also, like anyway. But regrets. It's like, well, maybe I could have just, let them gave away those songs. I don't know. I mean, it's just like, but it's a learning experience, because that EP, the Super Deluxe Rock and Roll EP that I'd released, man, I released that like, let's see. So it was released, and then Posh Boy I didn't start Posh Boy. And then I got another version released. I can't even keep up. I mean, again, I was lowbrow underground rock and roll. I went 3-chord shitty rock and roll, plug it in, go, I always had a 3-piece, my solo bands anyways, just down and dirty rock and roll, just, I wasn't, I didn't write bridges in my songs and all that, none of that. Just go, 2 or 3 minute songs. Just bam, bam, bam. I love the Ramones. I mean, so I've released, I would do it DIY, you know. And a lot of bands, they claim like, oh, DIY, independent. Man, they got money behind them, dude. They got distribution deals. That's the thing I wanted. It was like, hey, let me do my thing and let me get some distribution, you know, like major distribution. I don't want to. That's tough too. And when you're dealing with back then, the music industry was kind of, even around 2000, it was still around. Now there's no, there used to be like independent labels and fanzines everywhere. People wanting to help you manage your band or whatever the hell. That's another thing. Again, I probably should have had more management or more people. I was, you know, and then sometimes it's out of your, you know, you just can't do it. Stuff happens. You just, you know, find yourself in a situation. Like I signed with an entertainment attorney around the same time, around like 2000. Was it 2000? Anyway, um, I had, wait a minute. Okay. So I forgot the guy's name. But his big client was Jay Leno. He had from the Tonight Show. He represented Jay Leno. He represented like actors and TV and bands and I don't even remember how I got. Maybe because of the posh boy thing going on. I don't know. Got some attention. So he's like, yeah, you know, I work with lower level guys like you. You know, okay. And he signed. You know, he was going to represent me, and we would talk. He'd like maybe give me a 10-minute call like every week. It wasn't like we're, you know, he was busy. But you know, we were, you know, balls rolling. And I turned, was it 28, I think? So I had a birthday. Okay. And so that day I put out an email on my birthday and I put in all the emails that I know, what like a mass emailing, you know, so you could send out all at once, like, hey, it's my birthday. We're doing this. I think we're going to go like the Hollywood bowling lanes, you know, my friends, we're going to have a little party and birthday thing. I sent it out to everybody. And I forgot that he was even in. And why would he even care? Like he was one of the guys. So I get a call. Hey, Charlie, it's so and so. You know, hey, I thought he's gonna wish me a happy birthday. He schooled me. He's like, hey, how old are you today? I turned 28, man. You want to come to the whoa, 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 whoa. Why do you tell me that? I know you're that old. What do you mean? He's like, well, that's ancient in the music world. And he was right. 28 is ancient. And I'd already had you know, I'd been in love engineering and stuff. So I was kind of seasoned by then. Basically an old man at 28, you know. It's hard to think about it now, but I was, you know. He's like, bro, I don't represent anybody in band in over 27. And it was heartbreaking. He schooled me. He's like, look, don't take it personal. You know what I mean? But you've had your chance. And he's right. You know, it's going to be tough. Will you lie about your age? I was like, yeah. And he's like, I can't represent you, man. It's not heartbreaking on your birthday. You know, you know, okay, bye. You know, that kind of thing. A lot of people don't want to talk about these things. You know, I shouldn't talk about. Um, remember our roommate came home like, "What's up with you? It's your birthday. Come on." I was like, "Man, he's not representing me. He dropped me because there was no money in it. You know what I mean? Like he's just representing me, and he takes a big chunk if he does something for like that son of a bitch." You know, beach of regret. You know, it's like contemplating. Maybe I shouldn't. I should have thought more. Not sent him that email. I didn't know. And also, at the end of the day, do I want to be around someone that's just gonna out of the blue drop me for, you know? No. So I mean, you live and learn. You know, a lot of contemplating on the sea of regret for me. But you don't. Again, it's a learning. It's like a price of an education, and that's what got me scared. That's why then other people want to. Nope, nope, nope. I didn't want to be ripped because I was scared that, you know what I mean. I'd been bitten, but you know, I don't kind of, you know, shit. That's another regret. Then I get defensive, get the walls up because I've already been burnt. You know, like, do I really want to go down that road again? because you're literally like, and then you're what? You're fighting to keep your head above water. And of course, you got to come up with, you live in Hollywood, it's expensive. You got to, oh my God, you got to come up with money for rent. And what are you going to do? You know, and that's why when after I released my last EP or album in 2008, yeah, played behind that for 2 years, just around LA County, because you can tour basically around LA County, you can, Riverside County, whatever, all that. Play almost every night if you want to. And I did, played a lot. And I just couldn't do it anymore, man. I was like 40 or something, like, oh my God, I've been doing this since I was like 15. I'll start teaching. I will start teaching this magic I know. And that's what I did. I started working with all kinds of, you know, every kind of uh, genre of music, because I had this, I know this universal wisdom that can be applied to any genre, as far as like warming up your pipes and getting your projection right, and staying in key. I know how to teach people that. It takes time, but and I didn't come up with it. Someone taught me. I mean, I or learned it here. It takes. So I did that, and I wish I was still doing that, but it's, again, the music industry is not what it was. It's hard to find clients, especially where I'm at now. It's just not good. And I would teach from home. Sometimes I would use a studio, but it's like then they want a cut of it, and uh, yeah. Most of my regrets are from creative. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But yeah, you don't want to be contemplating too much on that beach of regret. You want to move on. You want to be like, hey, and I've got album. I should release an album. Actually, I should go in the studio. And part of me, I mean, I'd have to pay for it myself, which I've always done. Nowadays, I can get software and probably do it, but I don't have the microphones I used to have and the cables, and you know, um, or find a label to re-release my catalog. I got a bunch of shit. Just re-release that stuff. Uh, but my album never sold. I mean, it was. I mean, I did, but like a gig, I mean, it wasn't like I was on the charts or anything. We shall see, won't we? But yeah, I do this every day. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the information's in the description for Zelle. And I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, I'll be back. But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.